All right, listeners, welcome to the Sports Nation program again on Radio Haanji. So today we have Jason Sangha on board with us, who is going to captain the team in ICC Under-19 Cricket World Cup in New Zealand. So it's a pleasure moment for us to having you, Jason, on our show. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's so nice of you. So we start the question and session, Jason. First of all, we will ask about you. At what age, basically, you started the game?
Yeah, look, I never really was into cricket when I was younger. When I mean younger, I mean the age around 6, 7, 8. Took me when I was about 9 years old. I saw a game, Australia and India, I think, and I think I saw Gilchrist batting, and I immediately thought to myself I wanted to bat like Gilchrist. So, a couple of months later, cricket season started, and I obviously got on my cricket gear, got some bit of coaching. I was just practicing, just throwing the tennis ball and hitting up against the wall in the house, and actually broke a few lights, which wasn't too good. But like around 9 years old, I actually decided, I wanted to play cricket. But before that, I was always into swimming and rugby league, tennis.
So I also came to know, Jason, basically you do have a family connection in terms of the sports, fraternity in your family, like your dad also was a sports person back in India. So do you think that kind of atmosphere in the family actually give you a kind of support as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think my family's always been quite sporty and also quite active. Obviously, Mum used to be a high jump in school, and Dad was obviously state and national runner. So I mean, I always wanted to be like my dad, and whatever he wanted to do, I sort of tried to do the exact same thing. Also, at the time, my first cousin was also a very good cricketer. He played for Australia under 16s and played all the New South Wales under 17s and under 19s tournaments. So. Actually, in fact, he was, I think a couple of years ago, he was also the leading wicket taker in one of the under-19 tournaments. So, I think I always looked up to him as a cricketing idol. So, every time he would sort of play cricket and he'd go away to Hobart or Perth to play cricket, I think I always wanted to have that dream as well.
Okay, Jason, basically, when you say like you was actually into the other games like rugby or swimming. So, when you start the cricket at the age of 9, what's really the opportunity you saw, you want to build up your career in that particular game?
Oh, look, I mean, cricket never really was, like, obviously so much into it. I just wanted to play for a bit of fun. And as you said, like, I was always really into my rugby and into my tennis and stuff. And I mean, cricket, I never really knew where I could start playing and what I could do, and that was all my mum's hard work. I think she, found a club, then obviously I was allowed to go into the Randwick Junior Cricket Club, and I played a few games, and made some really close mates. So that was always good fun. And then obviously at school, I used to go to school with those guys to play cricket with. So there was always a good connection there. And once I found out, I joined the club and established some new friends. I was a very shy kid when I was growing up, but when I got to that age, around 9, 10, I was quite a loud person, so I always liked to, try and get as many friends as I could. So that's why I think cricket helped me in that way, making new friends and just enjoying the game. And, obviously I had swimming, probably why I didn't really try to pursue swimming. I think it was an individual sport, and I didn't really like doing it on my own. I always like to be, playing with teammates. So that's why I used to like sports like rugby league, soccer, basketball, cricket, all team sports that I really liked rather than probably tennis and swimming.
Rather than the individual game, yeah?
Yeah. Of course, even today I love watching my tennis, love watching the Olympics and the swimming, but as a sport professionally, I just felt like an individual sport wasn't for me.
Okay. So, Jason, basically you have a turning point, say, for example, like, you quit the swimming or the other games and then you enter into the cricket. What's really the turning point for you? Because at the age of 9, not on the day one or, in the very first year, so you decided like this is a game, you can carry on. So what's really the turning point or any inning you still want to remember, that's actually established a solid bond between you and cricket?
Oh, look, yeah, a turning point is pretty hard. Really, growing up, it got to the stage where I was like, look, if I keep trying to play cricket as best I can, and eventually I'll go somewhere. You know, there's obviously a lot of innings that I can remember off the top of my head. Big one was when I was 16 and scored 100 against Pakistan in the under-19 tournament before we went to the World Cup. So, so I think the real turning point where I decided I really wanted to play cricket, I think it would have been when my cousin Singh, when he would have got chosen for the under-19 tournament, and I think he got most wickets in that tournament. And I think at that time I was quite young, so it would have been about 12, 13. But it was at that point where I think I realised that, look, obviously he's doing so well, and, you know, someone like in our family is doing so well, and obviously our family used to always, you know, like always look after him, and he was always like that. He still is today, but he's always that star sort of growing up, and I always thought, oh, you know, I wish I could be someone like that as well, and got to the point where I was just throwing a ball up against the wall, and I was just hitting it, and I realised that I could hit some balls in, you know, sort of different areas than other people in my team could. Like, I'd go to the game on Saturday, and if I could hit some boys, I could hit boys some catches, or I had a very good wrist when I was a little kid. So I always thought, oh, okay, well, I guess I'm always going to be a batsman. But until I really discovered that I actually, you know, look after him and I wanted to be like him, I mean, that was a point where I went, okay, I think I really want to try and do this. And that's where I sort of gave up most of my other sports. Because I was playing like 4 or 5 sports a year. So got to the point where I sort of went, okay, look, I really just want to play cricket. I think I just want to be like, you know, I want to be like my cousin Dale. So obviously he was a fast bowler and I was a batsman. So that was probably the main point around the age of like 12, 13. I really wanted to pursue cricket.
So is there any incident just in your career so far, like when you think like, oh man, I better quit the game? So any particular incident you can recall?
For what was that, sorry?
Any particular incident in your career so far when you think like, oh, I better quit the cricket?
Oh, obviously, look, there's a few. But I can, in terms of, I've always tried to, you know, stay as humble and as down to earth as I could, with not trying to obviously boast my achievements too much. But look, if I think of turning points like in my career and key highlights that I've along my game, of obviously, as I said before, that 100 against Pakistan was massive when I was only 16. Just recently, the 100 against England, the England national team.
So any incident, Jason? Sorry, any incident you can recall when you think, oh, let's quit the cricket?
Oh, quit. It's tough because I've always loved the game. Look, to be fair, there was never a point where I said I wanted to quit cricket. There was definitely a point where I thought, I don't know, cricket was the right sport for me. Obviously, when I was like 10, it would have been about 11. And 10 or 11, I was trying out for a rep team. I obviously did make the team. And I think at that point, I sort of thought, oh, maybe cricket really isn't for me. And that was in Sydney. Sorry, I was living in Sydney then. Then I moved to Newcastle, and the following year, and played for a club in Newcastle. Opportunities for me wasn't that great. I just wasn't really getting too much of a bat. It wasn't really getting too much of a bowl. And then I think at that point, for about a year, I just thought, oh, maybe. In which
year it was that?
I would have been I was about 10 or 11. So probably 2010, 2011 season, and I probably thought, look, I don't know if cricket is the right sport. Just, you know, obviously just as a young kid growing up, you know, you always want to get the opportunity to, you know, showcase what you can do, but at the end of the day, like, it's all about loving and enjoying and everyone getting a fair go. So, but for me, it was very early that I knew I want to play cricket. Around 10 or 11.
When you say, Jason, like, you know, everybody would have a fair go. So do you feel any difficulties in your career as an immigrant community?
Look, I think we're pretty privileged in Australia that we've got a country that, you know, it's multicultural. So I think when I was younger, I always given a good opportunity because I guess I always had good skills. And when I got higher up the teams I went, as older I got, obviously got the more opportunities. obviously when you're younger, like it's hard because, you know, 1 week you might open and the next week you got to bat number 11 because, you know, you opened the game last week. So, yeah, it's hard. It's hard like that. But no, I think I was always, just because, you know, I was Indian, I don't think that really changed the way the opportunities I got. I never felt it was that way, but I just felt as in maybe my skills wasn't as great when I was at 9, 10 to maybe compete with the other kids. But it took me, you know, a couple of years to actually discover that I was good enough. And when I had that confidence that I was good enough, then my real skills showed through.
What kind of difficulties overall you faced in your career so far, Jason?
Look, obviously every cricketer has difficulties they have in their career. I think mine, to be honest, mine probably was the first year I was contracted with New South Wales. Obviously, I'm in my second year now, but the first year I was with Cricket New South Wales was the hardest year. I thought maybe, obviously coming into, you know, like I was signed by the Cricket New South Wales, so like my job is literally to play cricket. Like I'm a professional cricketer now, so once I was so happy that I made it, but it was quite tough. Like a lot more added pressure on yourself. You know, you're a professional cricketer now. You know, you've got to dominate, and I maybe just didn't handle that too well. I just don't think because I was still only 17, so I had a lot of under 17s, under 19s tournament that I probably was expected to do really well. So that was quite tough. But I mean, like I look back on it, and that's a good learning curve for me. I knew that I didn't handle the pressure as well as I did. So obviously now it's obviously a lot easier because I know what it takes. And I know how to handle that type of pressure. But maybe my first year, because I was so young, being contracted, it was quite tough. But I wouldn't say it's quite tough as in, like, I wouldn't regret it. Like, obviously, I'd do it all again if I had to. But, you know, that was probably the hardest point where I thought, okay, this is what it's like to be a professional cricketer. And it's quite daunting. Like, your first year as a professional cricketer, it's like, wow, you know, you're actually a pro now. This is your job. Your job is to play cricket, and it's exciting, but it's also quite daunting. So you just got to learn how to manage that, and I learned how to manage that, and but the first year was probably the hard time.
Jason, you also played the previous Under-19 World Cup as well against you know, the good number of players as well. So what have you learned from that, and how it will be beneficial for you and the team in New Zealand?
Look, I was 16 then, so lots changed. Look, obviously disappointed. I was 16 and I was very disappointed. Like, obviously we didn't go to the World Cup in Bangladesh, but I still got good experiences in Dubai and versus Pakistan and New Zealand. Look, it's definitely interesting because, you know, obviously as a player you learn every game you play. You just keep learning and learning. So.
Because the things in Dubai or in subcontinent are actually quite different in New Zealand and Australia. Like, you know, the ball will swing throughout the whole day, and you can get a reverse swing as well. The wickets are green. So, what kind of preparations in terms of as a team like we got here?
I think we're lucky because we had our under-19 tournament in Hobart, and I think Hobart is going to be quite similar to New Zealand. Obviously, we've just came back from under-19 national championships, and we've only really got 3 weeks before we're in camp together in Brisbane. So it's a very short period of time, but you know, I think for me personally, I'm very fortunate because I've got that, because I'm a professional cricketer. You know, I have the access and the facilities to be able to, you know, continuously work on my game. But as you said, like, you know, Dubai is so different to playing in New Zealand. You know, New Zealand's quite a bit more overcast. The pitches might be a bit more green. Where Dubai is probably, you know, a bit more spinners decks, and it's quite hot. So, you know, it's different. But at the end of the day, if you're the best players are the ones that are able to adapt to play around the world. And you look at guys like Steve Smith, Virat Kohli, you know, they score runs all around the world because they have the skill sets to be able to adapt. But look, I think for our team, I think everyone's preparation's been going very well. You know, I think a lot of the boys, you know, in the off season have came up to the main centre in Brisbane. They've trained, you know, with like spinning pitches. They've trained against steaming pitches. You know, fast pitches, slow pitches. We've trained a fair bit with all types of pitches, so we can also improve our games and our skill sets to be able to face any type of pitch.
Yeah. As a captain, Jason, like, what will be your captaincy style? Say, you know, we have a cool captains in the cricket in diaspora and also the aggressive one. So what will be your style?
Look, my favourite captain, obviously Steve Smith is number one, but I've always loved MS Dhoni. And he's Captain Cool for a reason. So, you know, I think for me, I've always been quite calm. I'm not very aggressive in my captaincy. Obviously, I always like to take wickets, so I'm aggressive in that way. But I'm not very aggressive, as in speaking, you know, sledging. I'm not really too much into that. I'm a bit more quiet and a bit more calm. But look, at the end of the day, for me, it's just to be a good leader and lead by example. If you know, if I'm setting good fields and I'm doing good bowling changes and you know, I'm being a good leader, then you know, everyone will play well as a team. But it's really important to be a good leader in the team, because I think, you know, if you don't have that,
that sets the whole tone. Yeah,
it does, and also like these guys. All these guys I'm going to be playing with, they can captain their own states and even maybe this team as well if I couldn't. So, you know, everyone is quite smart at this stage of your career. It's not like anyone doesn't know how to play the game of cricket. They're all very smart cricketers. So it's also a good thing. You don't need to tell them too much, because they know what to do. They know what's required. So as a captain, it's also quite easy to know that your bowler, that the bowler knows what ball he's going to bowl, and you know what ball he's going to bowl, even though you don't have to say to each other, because they're smart cricketers. They can read the game early. So for me, my job's quite easy. It's just to be the best leader I can and just make sure that my team's ready to go.
Yeah. So what kind of milestone you set for yourself now as a professional cricketer?
Oh, look, I've always tried to keep goals, but I've never really tried to keep too many milestones ahead. I just try and let them happen, because at the end of the day, if I told myself, you know, I want to score 1,000 runs in club cricket this year and I get 990, well, then that's a fail, isn't it? Because you didn't get 1,000, but you got just 10 runs short. So
that's
for me,
given.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, you know, in terms of the World Cup perspective, first and foremost is for Australia to win the World Cup. As a captain and as a leader, that's my ultimate goal, to win that World Cup, and then whatever I can do for the team after that is a plus. So obviously, you know, I can say I want to get as many hundreds as I can, but at the end of the day, you know, if we're bowling first most games and we're bowling teams out for under 150, then you know, I can't really get 100, can I? So at the end of the day, I think it's just more so whatever I can do for the team and whatever is required for me. So whatever is required for the team at that time, if I can continuously keep doing my role as best I can and, you know, keep doing what the team needs me to do, then I think that's a massive milestone for me.
Yeah. Tell us about your mentors in cricket, Jason.
Oh, look, I've had a few. I've definitely had a few mentors, and I've been very lucky to have lots of mentors in my life, because, you know, I've had guys that have played Test cricket for Australia and, you know, guys that I've played club cricket in Newcastle with. So, you know, obviously the number one guy, well, firstly, my number one people is my dad and my mum. Obviously, Dad's always been, you know, willing to throw me balls as much as he can, and he's been seeing me since I was about 9 years old, so he knows exactly how I bat, and he knows my game the most. But another guy is Brett Jackson back home in Newcastle. He was one of my coaches I've been going through for the last 4 or 5 years as a young cricketer, and you know, he's someone that probably changed, I wouldn't say changed, but he allowed me to be confident in my game, but also know that I had the skill set to be able to play the ball 360 degrees around the ground. I never knew I had that ability, but he made sure I had that ability, and he kept working on my game to be able to be the best player I can be. And I think without his coaching and training, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be as smart about my career as him. Obviously, alongside with him, you know, I've got all the guys from Wallsend Cricket Club back home in Newcastle. They've done an absolute amazing job with me. You know, I was only a young kid, 12, 13 years of age, and you know, they all, each single one of them, the coaching staff, a guy called Matthew Wicks, another guy called Lindsay Walker, all of them, they all really helped me, you know, to be where I am when I was a young kid, especially, and then obviously moved back to Sydney and starting my professional career. Look, I've got guys, someone like Nathan Price, the coaches here at New South Wales, Bo Casson, Gav Twining, Anthony Clark, and obviously, you know, UCA coaches, people like, you know, Graham Manu, Ryan Harris, Chris Rogers, Matt Elliott, trying to think of on top of my head. All these guys have helped me in my career a fair bit. But number one, definitely my mum and dad, and obviously a guy called Brett Jackson.
Sure, man. Love it. Okay, Jason, we have some quick questions for you. So, just to basically tell our listeners more about you. What's the best shot to play?
The best shot to play? Look, it's interesting because obviously... If you will give me the professional answer, say it depends on a ball, that's not acceptable, man. Yeah, that's true. Look, the best shot is for defence. I think if you have a for defence, you can literally play any game of cricket. It's the most important part of the game.
Okay. West area you want to? What's the best area to play?
Area, as in like around in the ground, like
in the ground. Say for example, like offside or leg side or straight.
Look, I think straight is the best option. It allows you it just minimises your chance of getting out. Like the straighter you hit the ball, I think the less you minimise the risk of getting out. But and look, if you hit straight back over the bowler's head, there's no real fielders. There's no fielders where the side screen is. So if you keep hitting straight, I think that's the ultimate key.
What's your best position while fielding?
My best position while fielding, I'm always in the slips. So as a captain, we've got to look around the ground. So first or second slip is where I generally field. Otherwise, your cover, point, mid wicket, they're all key fielders. Your best fielders generally field around, in the slips or in cover, point, and mid wicket.
Yeah. Okay. What's your memorable moment so far in your career, Jason?
What's my memory?
Yeah, most memorable moment in your career so far.
Most memorable. Look, without a doubt, I think the 100 against England. Look, that's it's proper England. It was a proper England team. I think someone said the other day it was second youngest behind.
That's really set the tone for the Ashes, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. And obviously, look, I never in my wildest dreams thought I could actually be able to achieve that. But look, that's definitely up there. The 100 against England.
What's the moment you want to forget?
Look, I think once again the 100 against England. But I must say, the moment I won't forget is I reckon it would have been my first ball in club cricket in Newcastle. It might have been rep cricket, and I think I actually bowled it off the pitch. That was my first ball I bowled, so that's actually quite memorable. I've never forgotten about that one.
So we have some other questions. Say, for example, the answers will be for Australia and international cricket. So what's your favorite batsman from Australian team and internationally?
Australia, Steve Smith. He's easily the best, and in international cricket, in Virat Kohli, he's a god.
Yeah,
he's a good player.
Yeah. So your favorite fast bowler from Australia and from international cricket team?
Favorite? What was that? Sorry, my favorite
fast bowler.
Fast bowler. Fast bowler. Look, Australia, Mitchell Starc.
Yeah.
He's quick. He's so quick. And international. Look, I've always loved Dale Steyn. I think. Yeah. The South African man, Dale Steyn. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite spinner from Australia and also from internationally?
Favorite spinner from Australia?
It's only the goal.
The GOAT. I think Nathan Lyon. I think everyone loves him. He's a character and he's a good bowler. And in international cricket, look, I think Ravi Ashwin. I think he's a mystery bowler and he's so smart. He's a good batter as well. So Ashwin and Lyon. And
your favorite fielder, from Australia? Choose only one, and also choose one from internationally.
Fielder. Look, Glenn Maxwell from Australia. I think he's an absolute machine.
Especially with his run out.
Oh, easily. Then international. Look, it's a tie. I have to go Bavuma from South Africa, and also De Villiers. I think they're the key fielders. I think De Villiers especially. I think he's a wicket keeper or he's a fielder. He's amazing.
Yeah. What's your favorite ground to play in Australia and outside Australia?
Sydney Cricket Ground. I think Sydney Cricket Ground. Yeah, in Australia for sure.
Yeah.
Internationally, look, it's a tough one, but I think Lords, like, that's the home of cricket, isn't it, Lords?
True, man, true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jason, that's all from our side. That's all questions we got for you. Wish you all the very best for the Cricket World Cup and also for your career. All the very best.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jason. Bye.
Bye-bye.